joining me for the second pillar, which is called Create. Now, Create is the second pillar of the 4, and it's still in the curriculum development part of the 4 pillars. So this is the part where we start to look at how to structure your learning experience. So in Connect, we've gone through how to really understand what it is your clients need, what problem they need solved, how they learn, and then how to define the learning experience. Once you've defined the learning experience, then you get inside it and you work out how is that curriculum going to be put together. So that's what Create is all about, how to structure the learning experience. So to create a really effective learning experience for your clients, you should be doing 3 things. First of all, your modules or your workshop should have outcomes. They should be outcomes based. And if you're outcomes based, then your clients are going to be working towards a goal. So once you've got your modules of outcomes-based training, then you need to scaffold them in the right order. Now, scaffolding is about the order of the modules, so the logical order, which is a no-brainer, but then also about the way that you structure the learning experience within those modules. So do you just go, oh, here's your information, learn it, like we did at high school? There's a lot more effective way to structure and how to scaffold a learning experience, and we'll talk about that later. Now, the third way of how to create effectively is to be organised. So I find a lot of people coming at me with all these activities and ideas and they're in no sort of structure. When you are in overwhelm, your client is in overwhelm. And so that's why you need content and task planner so that everything is organised, planned and ready to go. What happens when you don't? People get frustrated, they get confused and they get really overwhelmed. And I find this a lot. I get a lot of my clients coming to me in this state. They say, I did this course but no one finished it. And I don't have any understanding of why, because I gave them so many worksheets and I go into the back end of their program to have a look at what the students are looking at, and it's this crazy myriad of activities. I'm like, well, where do I start? Which one do I do first? They're like, oh, well, you do these ones first. I'm like, oh, how do I know that? So when your clients are confused, it's much harder for them to learn, and it's much harder for them to understand how to actually take themselves through the learning process. So to avoid that, we're going to get outcomes-based modules in order, and we're going to have an organised structure so that our learning platform is organised as well. Okay, so the first problem that you encounter when you don't do this is that your clients get really frustrated. They might say things to you like, oh, where is this going? Or, my God, are we ever going to get there? Like, what's the point of this training? There's nothing worse than sitting inside training and thinking, am I ever going to use this? I think I'd be much better off planning my shopping list. You don't want your clients feeling like that. But if they know exactly what outcome they're working towards, if they know that your training is driving them to an outcome, they're going to be pretty motivated to get there. So make sure you've got outcomes for every module, presentation, workshop. It doesn't matter how big or small the learning experience, but they should be in small modules, and those small modules should have outcomes. They should have things that people can do as a result of having trained with you. The second problem is confusion. When clients are like, I don't know where to go, I don't know which part of this to start with first, there's things everywhere I don't really understand. Possibly because your modules are out of order, or it's not clear which order they should be taken in. Oftentimes it's not about not having enough information. I find there's too much information on these learning platforms and they're not organised very well. So scaffolding is about the order that the modules go in, but it's also about the structure of the content. So when you're giving someone a learning experience, so let's just say it's a presentation, this video for example, I'm giving you some information, I'm giving you an example, and then I'm giving you a way to go and apply it. That's one way to scaffold a learning experience. There's many more, and we talk about them at length in the course. So that third problem is overwhelm. When you go into one of those learning platforms and there's just stuff everywhere and you're going, oh my God, where do I start? If your client is feeling like that, they're not going to be motivated to finish the program with you. And I find a lot of people coming to me with this exact problem. They don't have a plan, so their clients are confused and overwhelmed with where they should be starting. That's why I recommend that you do a content and task planner. Now, other people call that a curriculum map, or you could call it a course overview, but it basically looks at what your course is, what modules you've got, and exactly which activities and what order they go. So it's normally quite a large document and there's a lot of text on it, but it's like a roadmap so that you know where you're going in the learning journey so that you can make it as clear as possible for your clients to follow along. So how do we create a learning experience as effectively as possible? Well, we follow those 3 steps. We make sure that there's outcomes-based modules, that are scaffolded in the right order, and then we make sure that we have a plan, we have an overview or a curriculum map, whatever you want to call it, but it's a learning journey that's easily mapped out that you and your client can follow without the confusion, the frustration and the overwhelm.